Hello, it's Emma, the Body Love Coach here, and welcome to Monday Inspiration. This is a weekly segment that I do to help to make us feel inspired on a Monday, because I know from my old life, when I used to work as a corporate slave, as I used to call it, Mondays used to be a pretty stressful day because often I was kind of like, ugh, do I have to go there to my office? And so I was feeling pretty down about where I was working. But also there was that feeling of, oh gosh, I overate on the weekend, or I didn't exercise enough, or I didn't do all the things I should have. So there's a lot of guilt involved in Mondays. So I'm hoping to make Monday a bit more inspirational, a bit more exciting, and a little bit more less judgmental than they used to be. So I thought today I would take us through the Body Love Method, which is always in the background of my videos when I'm here in my office. Because it's not a secret what the Body Love Method is. I would love everyone to know what the Body Love Method is, because I'm sure there's many things on here that you already know a lot about, but it's about putting it all together as a way to reframe the way we look at our bodies and look at our self-care practices and look at ourselves and the way we love ourselves. So I'm going to take you through all of the Body Love Method today and just sort of tell you about why I created it and how it works and all the different ways that you can use the Body Love Method in your own life. So the Body Love Method came about because, I've had a long history with chronic illness, chronic stress, working in jobs I didn't like, not liking my body, lots of different issues going on. And even as a personal trainer and a health coach, I spent a lot of my time really hating my body and thinking it wasn't good enough and thinking, oh gosh, no one wants a personal trainer with a big belly. I felt really self-conscious about that a lot of the time. But then I also had this chronic illness, endometriosis, and I had to have a lot of surgeries for that. And it sort of debilitated me in a way that I couldn't always exercise the way I wanted to. I was often comfort eating because I wasn't feeling well and I'm feeling a bit sorry for myself. And so it would affect my body in lots of different ways. I would hate the pain I was in. I would hate my body for doing this to me. I wouldn't treat it well. And I was pretty down on my body for a really long time. So at the beginning of 2017, I made a difficult decision to have a full hysterectomy to try and treat the endometriosis. And while I was recovering in hospital, I got this divine message. I really felt like it came down from the universe, and it came straight into my heart, and it said to me, Emma, you've treated your body badly for a long time. Now it's time to love your body. And I totally and utterly took that on board in my heart straight away. I thought, yep, that is so true. So from that moment on, I started to really start to look after my body a lot more and really say nice things to it, treat it well, and look after it without so much judgment. But still with my clients, I was still kind of the old personal training style of helping them lose weight, and not really talking more about the self-care practices that I really believed in. And then I had a business coach a few months after my surgery going through one of my web pages and sort of making comments about my body and sort of saying, oh, there's too much tummy in this photo, and this photo looks like a before photo rather than a before and after photo, and saying that the photo that was 2 years old and way before my surgery and way before I was postmenopausal, saying that photo looks great, more photos like that. And I really realized it was time to help other women feel good about themselves right now, rather than picking on themselves all the time. And I realized through this conversation with this business coach that I had actually overcome my body hate. And, of course I have days where I'm a bit down on my body still, but in general, my mindset is so much more positive around my body. And so I sat down I didn't sit still for 2 months, but it took me about 2 months to sit down and really think about, what did I do for myself to help myself go from really loathing my body into loving my body. And that's how I created the Body Love Method. These are all the things that I have done for myself in my own life that have really helped transform my mindset around my body. And then I started to use some of this stuff with my clients that I'd seen for a long time, and they started to get results too. And that's why I put it all together and started to call it the Body Love Method. And it's something I'm so passionate about. I see so many women get beautiful results by following these guidelines, I guess is what you'd call them. And so I want to share it with everybody. I want everyone to know what the Body Love Method is. And of course, some people will want to have me coach them through it. Some people will be able to just run with it and do it on their own, and that's perfectly fine. And it's very exciting to say that as of next year, I'll be teaching other women how to teach the Body Love Method as well. So keep an eye out for that information coming up soon. So I'm going to take you through the Body Love Method now. So there's 3 main parts to the Body Love Method. The first part is the engage and release phase. So this is where we make a decision that, yes, I want to love my body. Yes, I'm willing to let go of the old paradigm of calories in, calories out. I'm not good enough the way I am. I've got to change myself to be lovable. It's where we let go of all of that, engage in body positivity, engage in body love, and say, yes, this is what I want. And then we need to release that old programming. We need to release the things that we've thought about our bodies in the past. So the 4 things we do in this section is, 1 is set an intention around what we want out of loving our bodies, how we want to change our thinking, whatever that is. So the first part is setting an intention. And then the second part is decluttering. And it might be decluttering your space, because for a lot of people, they've got so much stuff around them that they don't have time to exercise or make, new interesting meals or do meditation or all the things that they should, could be doing for themselves. So decluttering physically, but also sometimes decluttering mentally. There's often a lot of mind chatter going on. I'm not good enough. My tummy looks terrible. Oh my God, look at my thighs, or whatever that is. So the decluttering section is a great way to learn to release a lot of this mind clutter. So then we move on to forgiveness. So once we've decluttered a lot of stuff, then we've got to forgive things. We need to forgive other people, perhaps. We need to forgive the culture that we live in that makes us believe that being skinny is the most important thing. We've got to forgive perhaps ourselves for the way that we've treated our own bodies. So forgiveness is a really important part of the program. And it's not about condoning bad behavior and saying it's okay to treat me like shit. It's not about that. It's actually about letting go of the idea that the past could be any different. So it's more about releasing and letting go of stuff from the past. And then the last part in the first section is positive anchors. So it's about surrounding ourselves with positivity. It's about having positive friends, going to classes, fitness classes that support you rather than tear you down. It might be having, beautiful sayings on the wall around you. It might be having a reminder pop up on your phone to tell you that you're beautiful today. It might be music that you play, books that you read, and just continue to surround yourself with positivity. So that's our engage and release section. Then the next section of the Body Love Method is explore and support. And this is where we start to explore new ways of looking after ourselves. So it's not just exercise and diet, which is what the diet industry or the fitness industry will tell you. There's more to loving your body than that. So the first thing we talk about in this segment is the chakra system. So I started learning about the chakras, obviously, when I learned about yoga, and also my Reiki studies. And for me, the chakra system was such a revelation to me, because it made me realize I could look at my body in a way that was more than just the way it looked. And also I understood that sometimes the manifestations of illness or carrying weight or whatever we don't feel great about with our bodies is actually an emotional thing or a spiritual thing. And so the chakra system helped me look at the body as this 3-dimensional thing, not just the way it looks, but also the way that it functions. It's not just physical, it's also emotional, and it's also spiritual. Huge transformations can happen when we start to really look at our bodies from this different perspective, from the chakra system perspective. Then, of course, there is meditation, because I know meditation completely transformed my life, and I know it can transform everybody's lives, but so many people feel like that meditation isn't for them because they can't do it right. So when I coach my clients, I help them understand that, meditation is individual as we all are. We can make our meditation practice fit in with our lives. It's possible and it's important, especially when we're all so busy. So meditation is really important. And then also journaling, because the power of putting things on paper, can make us actually get them done. When you've got a to-do list and you're writing things down, that's really important. But also sometimes to clear out some of this mental clutter that I talked about before. Writing it out, ripping up the page, burning it, whatever you need to do, journaling can be a really powerful way to clear out that negativity that we sometimes carry around with us. And then the last part of explore and support is the toolkit. So what are the things that you do, that you have for yourself to support yourself? So it might be a regular, monthly massage that you have booked in. It might be your essential oils that you use. It might be that you have a friend that you catch up with once a week just to download, and she downloads with you. So what are the toolkit items that you have to support yourself so that you've always got something to look after you, even when you're having a bad day? And then we finally move into the love section. And this is probably the section that people are most familiar with when it comes to looking after your body's diet and exercise and things like that. So the first segment is movement. And I call it movement instead of exercise because for a lot of people that word exercise is a real turn-off. So movement, how can you move your body in a way that suits your body? It might be gentle yoga, it might be a walk, it might be full-on stuff at the gym, whatever suits you, but what can you do to move your body regularly? And it's really interesting when a lot of my private clients get to this movement part of the program, they're also ready to move in their life a little bit. Maybe it is moving house, maybe it's moving job, maybe it's changing something significant in their life. So movement can have a double meaning really. Then we go into fuel. So fuel is obviously how we fuel ourselves with food, but I'm not prescribing a diet that you have to follow or anything like that. It's about finding ways to fuel yourself in a way that feels good for you and really trusting your body to let you know what it needs. But fuel can also be how are you fueling your lives in other ways? Do you have work that you enjoy, that lights you up, that keeps you feeling passionate? Do you have a relationship or friends that support you? Do you have, a regular movement practice that we talked about? Do you have some sense of spirituality or some connection outside of yourself and other human beings? Maybe it's nature, or maybe it's the universe, or maybe you have a religious practice. It's different for everybody. So the fuel can be much, much more than just what we put in our mouths. And then it's that daily ritual. What are the 1, 2, 3 things that you're going to do for yourself every single day? And when I say every single day, I mean as often as you can, because if you think it has to be every day and you miss a day, that can be when everything falls apart. So I'm meaning like as often as you can, most days, what are the 1, 2, 3 things that you do to support and love your body? And that will change over time depending on where you're at. And finally, the last part of the body love method is up leveling. And this is where we actually start to understand that life is really good. Our bodies feel really good. We're happy with the way we are. And we start to think, what's next? What else could I do? What's the next step for me? Where am I going to bring my life even more, even more excitement to my life, even more joy, even more health? What can I do next? And also, we talk about with my clients in this section, just the fact that when we start to up level, when we start to feel really good, sometimes there's a bit of self-sabotage going on. And I talk to my clients about why that happens and how we can sort of counteract that problem, because it's very, very common. See it all the time with new clients that come to classes for a couple of times and then they get sick. And there's a reason behind that. And that's what I share with my private clients as well. The overarching principle that you can see here down the bottom is allowing versus achieving. We've been really taught by the fitness industry, by the health industry, that to be healthy, to be fit, to be beautiful, you need to fit into a certain, set of numbers. And that's all about achieving good health. And that doesn't let us understand that everyone's an individual and our bodies will like to look after us in the way that they know how, and everyone's bodies are different. So we need to have a certain amount of allowing good health rather than rushing it down and trying to achieve it all of the time. So that, my friends, is the Body Love Method in a nutshell. And as I said, there's probably a lot there that you've seen before or heard of before, but it's kind of the way it's put together that really makes a difference when I work with my one-on-one clients. So I'd love you to have a look at this, re-listen to this if you're listening to this on the podcast, take some notes and understand that you can make this work for you. But if you feel like you need some additional support and perhaps you want me to be your coach or you want to find out about some of my do-it-yourself programs, then you can book a free Body Love consultation at blueskyvitality.net/free. There's no obligation to have one of those. You don't have to buy something from me to have one of those sessions, but you might just have a quick discussion with me and decide what you want to do for yourself, or perhaps you'll decide that you do want me to support you in some way. And I'd love you to book in for one of those if that feels like something you need. So I hope 1, 2, 3 of these things have motivated you, inspired you this Monday, understanding that, 5 or 6 years ago, I had never even thought that I would come up with something like this. And so if you're in a job where you don't feel happy, or if you're not feeling happy within yourself, exactly where I was 6 years ago, just know that you can make a difference in your own life and you can make positive changes. It doesn't necessarily happen all at once, but it will happen if you make that decision. And that's why right at the beginning of the Body Love Method, we talk about intention, about making that decision that that's what you want. And that's all you need to do to start with, and then everything else will follow along. So let me know if you've got any questions in the comments, or if there's anything that you'd like me to give you a little chat about on a Monday Inspiration. I'd love to hear from you. But thank you very much for listening for today, and I hope you have a really great week. Lots of love. See ya.